woman has been arrested after a 1-year-old daughter ingested drugs. The incident occurred at around 2:36 p.m. on the 25th of October, located at a home in the 6400 block of Avenue D in Fairfield, Alabama. 31-year-old Jeanette Bell contacted emergency services, frantically screaming down the phone that a 1-year-old baby had overdosed on her drugs. Deputies were dispatched and arrived at the scene, where they found a baby girl laying on the floor unresponsive. Witnesses at the home told the officers that the child had ingested some illegal drugs, possibly fentanyl, and she'd been unresponsive for about 30 minutes. First responders gave the girl Narcan and managed to resuscitate her as she began to breathe slowly. The child was rushed to the Children's Hospital, where she's reported to be in a stable condition. During the investigation, Jeanette admitted that the child had access to some of her drug paraphernalia and ingested it by putting it in her mouth. The Department of Human Services was contacted to check the welfare of the other children in the home. Jeanette was arrested on the 25th of October and has been charged with chemical endangerment of a child and is held on a $15,000 bond. A landlord has been charged with fatally stabbing a new tenant more than 30 times after being alerted to heat problems in the home. The incident occurred at around 3:30 p.m. on Friday the 22nd of October, located at the 6212 North Topping Avenue in Kansas City, Missouri. The authorities responded to the scene after receiving reports of a stabbing at the home, where 28-year-old Daryl Gilland and his fiancée Samantha Pullman had recently begun renting. Upon arrival at the rear of the property, they found the landlord, 44-year-old Gordon Macbeth, being held at gunpoint by a neighbour. Daryl was found lying face down in a pool of blood after suffering from dozens of stab wounds to his chest, back, arms and legs, and paramedics pronounced him dead at the scene. Samantha told the investigators that she and Daryl, who have been together for 5 years, had only moved into the home a week ago. Samantha said they had an agreement with the landlord where they'll pay a lower rent if they remodeled the rundown home. She said that on a cold night, Daryl sent Gordon a respectful text about the heater not working. She said at first Gordon was perfectly nice about it, saying he'll come over and fix it. Then out of nowhere, Gordon completely flipped and acted like we were asking for too much and being a complete burden, she explained. Witnesses told investigators that they saw Gordon speeding and driving erratically before pulling into the couple's driveway and immediately started acting aggressively towards the pair. Samantha said he began throwing insulation at her as soon as he got out of the car. He reportedly said that if that's not good enough, he'll kill her fiancée. As Daryl attempted to intervene, Gordon pulled out a large hunting knife and threatened him with it. Moments later, he allegedly began stabbing Daryl repeatedly. Samantha then ran screaming to a neighbour's home. Several neighbours told police they heard horrific screaming. One of the neighbours grabbed a gun and went to help. When he arrived at the property, he saw Gordon on top of Daryl, grasping a black-handled knife with both hands and repeatedly stabbing him. He then ordered Gordon to get on the ground and held the suspect at gunpoint until police arrived. Other neighbours tried to help Daryl, but he died before paramedics arrived. Gordon was arrested and has been held at the Clay County Detention Center on a $1 million bond. A Texas man has been sentenced to life in prison after he beat his girlfriend's 2-year-old daughter to death just days before she turned 3 because she had put her shoes on the wrong feet. 27-year-old Jada Nunez was found guilty of capital murder last week and has been sentenced to life in prison with no chance of parole. At around 2:49 a.m. on the 22nd of September 2019, the girl's mother, 29-year-old Ashley McAlpine, contacted 911 after her daughter became unresponsive. First responders arrived at the home, located in the 800 block of South 11th Street in Temple, where they found the toddler wasn't breathing and was covered in bruises. At 3:31 a.m, she was pronounced dead. An investigation into Shannon McAlpine's death revealed that Jaden beat and choked her. It was determined that her death was caused by blunt force trauma to the abdomen. The drama started just hours earlier, when the family were getting ready to go to a store in preparation for Shanna's 3rd birthday party, which was due on the 24th of September. Shanna put her shoes on the wrong feet, and Jaden began lashing out at her and struck her across the face. She fell, so he grabbed her and held her up in the air before punching her 3 times in her stomach and then dropping her on the floor. Ashley told police that she took Shanna from the room and put her on a bed, but Jaden came in and started choking Shanna with both hands. She turned blue, but he continued choking her for a couple of minutes. When he finally stopped choking her, Shanna gasped for air and curled up into a fetal position. At around 2 a.m, Ashley said she woke up and Shanna was crying. She said she tried to get her something to eat and drink and noticed that her stomach was swollen and hot, but the rest of her body was cold. She put Shanna in the shower to try to warm her up, but Shanna could not stand on her own and was not breathing right, so that's when she contacted 911 and Shanna died soon after. Jaden was arrested on the 23rd of September 2019 and will spend the rest of his days behind bars. The authorities say that Ashley knew that Jaden was beating Shanna, but failed to stop him and did not seek medical attention until several hours later. She was arrested on the 17th of December 2020 and charged for injury to a child.